people on the planet.
Yes.
It's the voice of the Kings. He's the one and only Mark Jones. What's up, Mark?
Hey, everything's good. Everything's good. Excited as you guys are about the game tonight. I feel like this is one of those real litmus test games to find out where the Kings really are. Coming off a disappointing loss against Philadelphia and having to protect the home court, and with the playoffs, and not just the playoffs, but beyond being the goal for the Kings this year. Getting a Memphis team that's going to be a little bit irascible. There's a word for you.
Oh, irascible?
A little irascible, cantankerous, little salty coming in here. There you go.
I love it.
Off of a loss. They got dragged last night, man, for most of that game against Phoenix. I watched it, and, they're a tough team. They like to talk a little stuff, so it'll be a fun game tonight.
Yeah, I love these type of atmospheres for a game like this because you're right. Memphis talks to everybody, but they back it up. They play physical. They have fun doing it. And the Kings have been awesome against teams below 500, 18-5 against teams under 500. That's great. You're taking care of business. I'm really interested to see how they handle things tonight because they've got to match that physicality. And we know Steven Adams is just a force down low. He's done a great job rebounding. I think these are the fun moments for a Kings team that's still trying to figure out totally who they are, but they're headed in a great direction.
Yeah, they're going to learn a lot about themselves tonight because, one of the deficiencies that Sacramento has had this year is trying to protect the paint. And lo and behold, Memphis is number one in the league in points in the paint. Their most dynamic player, one of the, I think, top 5 players in the NBA, John Morant, is amongst leaders in points in the paint and non-rim points in the paint and non-rim attempts in the paint. So got to keep him out of the lane tonight. That's going to be a big part of De'Aaron Fox's assignment for most of the night. And I really look forward to that matchup between those two guys because, the one thing that I've really noticed about De'Aaron this year is how he's positively responded to the prodding and the poking of Mike Brown constantly, how Mike keeps telling him, we need more out of you. And, you look at De'Aaron's numbers, he's averaging 24 a game, 51% from the field, shooting a three at about 33%, doing a great job at the defensive end. And for your coach to want more, I think is fantastic. So, this team as a whole is going to find out, just what they're made of tonight a little bit more. And Sabonis, too, going up against, you mentioned Steven Adams, arguably, I think, the strongest man in the NBA. I mean, one thing that fans, Deuce and Mo can look at, one thing that fans can look for tonight is when Steven Adams sets a ball screen for Ja or anyone else, watch how many times that defender dies on that ball screen. I mean, he just crushes his opponents because he's so big and so sturdy. So being able to deal with that, whether it's fighting over, going under, whatever, getting help on the other side in a show or a double team, that's going to be a big part. And I think we're going to see one of Mike Brown's best scheme defenses tonight.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's exactly what we see because, talking about Steven Adams and his ability to get those second chance opportunities. And then, like you were saying, John Morant and his ability to get into the paint, play, make, score, whatever it may be, there's going to need to be a lot of perimeter pressure, a lot of resistance coming from this Kings defense. But last time Mike Brown, after that loss against the Grizzlies, talked about doubling down on Steven Adams when crashing the boards. That's going to leave some guy open that maybe have an assignment to crash the board from a different angle. But the Kings defense, it can get things done if they're just super locked in and meet their physicality, right?
Yeah. And you mentioned it, Mo. It's about being able to gang a rebound. It's got to be a collaborative effort on the glass because, if you allow this team, in particular Steven Adams, who leads the NBA in offensive rebounding rate, if you allow that to happen, it spells for a long night. We saw what happened against Philadelphia when, we allowed them way too many second chance opportunities. And this team will punish you even more so because, they've got Adams, they've got a lot of length in Jaren Jackson Jr., who's a little bit of a mismatch threat at the offensive end. So this squad, the Kings, we're going to get tested in so many different ways this evening. But I've always been a proponent of the fact that the Kings are better defensively than the numbers indicate. I know they come into the game tonight with a defensive rating of 25th, but if you look at some of the different markers and metrics, in terms of contested shots in particular, the team is actually getting it done for the most part. So I'm expecting a second half surge to get us up to around, anywhere between 17 and 14 by the end of it, because I think Mike is too good a defensive coach and Jordy does a fantastic job at that end of the floor. But tonight's going to be a great way to catalyze that change and a great team to do it. I talked to Darren this morning at shoot around, and he's excited about going against this team. He's excited going against John Morant tonight. So that's going to be fun.
Mark, this is, I believe, your third year calling Kings games. In the first couple of years, we had cardboard cutouts in the stands, and last year, of course, it was still kind of restrictions with the pandemic going on. This year, we see a full house. The team's playing well. I know you've been around the league for a long time. You've been in some of the best atmospheres. You've called big-time games, finals games, playoff games. What has been your impression being here on a regular basis with the energy that's in that building right now?
I get excited going to the arena every time. I mean, it is phenomenal, the energy. There have been a couple of times this year where I've walked to games just to, as a journalist, get immersed in your environment. And it's been great, man. Get stopped at L Street and 19th, L Street and 18th, L Street and 17th, all the way up. People want to talk about Kings basketball, and it feels like everybody's in the arena. And, when you start, comparing, I know there's a lot of great fan bases around this league, but I can't think of one that's more passionate than this one here. And to watch the way that they've shown up this year to sell the building out night after night, that is a tangible impact, a positive impact on the players on the floor, because it matters. There are some nights where, you look at the calendar today, I'm looking at my watch, it's the 23rd of January. We're officially in the dog days of the NBA season, right? So when you have a sellout crowd of well over 17,000 at Golden One Center, that becomes a big-time home court advantage. And, Sacramento's 15-10 this year at home. Could probably be a little bit better at the crib here, but, you can't point the finger at the fans. They've been great. And, if you ask me to rank the top three, man, I'd give us the top two spots on the podium, and you can argue over the third place.
Hey, dude, Mark, people have been sleeping on that. They forgot. It's been a minute since the Kings have been in a winning environment. Everyone's talking about Golden State and OKC, Portland, Boston. The
Right.
Kings fans been rocking for a long time, and they're thirsty, and they're feeling, right? They're feeling some type of way right now. They've got all this pent-up energy, the beam they love.
It's all of it, you guys. We talk about how this beam has been able to bring us together, but also the product on the floor is giving everyone something to feel so much joy about. And speaking of that product, I think two guys in Domas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox have really taken their games to another level. Obviously, Domas was on another team for most of the year last season. And then De'Aaron Fox, his maturity on the floor, off the floor, his leadership skills, everything has truly taken a leap. National media is starting to notice. Mark, you obviously are within the national media world as well. What are the vibes that you're getting from other people about these two?
I get a lot of questions from my colleagues at ESPN about, hey, what's going on in Sacramento? I tried telling you, I tried to let you behind the red velvet rope early, but you wanted to wait and see who was going to come in the club first. But there's a curiosity about Sacramento as to, wow, are they really that good? And then I begin to explain to them that, Mike is running an offense here that Jay Triano does a great job implementing too, of making it, it's an egalitarian system. Everybody participates in it. Everybody touches. Everybody moves. Everybody cuts. It's an equal opportunity deal. Even though the hub is Sabonis a lot of times, and Fox is probably our most dynamic scorer. But everybody's included, and that inclusivity tells you that tells me as a basketball person that that's something that's sustainable. And I think people are beginning to realize it now when they look at the highest scoring team in the league. Yeah, Sacramento, that's real. I mean, we're 45 games into it. It's more than a trend. It's the thing. So, they ask if it's sustainable. They ask, boy, how good is Sabonis? And I tell them he's kind of a poor man's Jokic right now in a kind of, I mean that as a compliment.
Yeah.
But, and there are some things that he does better than Joker. I think he's a better defender than Joker is. So I don't know. And then Fox, they ask about De'Aaron. I say De'Aaron's always been a very talented player amongst the elite point guards, but now you're noticing, I tell them, because they're winning. And his numbers are not empty calories. They're contributing to winning. And that starts at the top with Monty McNair and the way the franchise has been aligned since July in Summer League.
Mark, we can't thank you enough for being a part of our first show here. You are literally the best. We're so happy that you're here in Sacramento and part of this prize. It's a fun time for this city. So just kind of enjoying this come up, man.
Hey, you know what, Deuce and Mo, you two were two of the first people I met when I came to Sacramento. And you guys, for me, in a lot of ways, are the face of this city, the basketball heartbeat, the people who are representative of Kings fans. And after I remember doing my first interview with you all, and congratulations on your slot on the show on the radio station. You guys do the damn thing. And I thought, wow, if I'm coming to Sacramento and this is what's waiting for me on this other side, I can't wait to jet and get out there. So keep up the great work. Keep doing your thing. And I'll see you at Golden One tonight.
Man,
Thank you, Mark.
that means so much, man. We'll see you tonight. Thank you so much.
You got it.
One and only Mark Jones.
Oh,
Man.
my heart.